This is a
Squad
podcast.
What's up? What's up?
That ball is belted. Welcome in Carlos Gomez. Hello. Goodbye.
Prescott down the middle. Butler makes a move.
Oh man, yeah. We rocking now for real. Yeah. BS3 Sports. Okay, sports news, get it first when you're getting out for work. Even when you're at work, acting like you're working hard when you're hardly working. I'm a maverick like Dirk, getting Franklin's like Kirk. Hold up, boy, X-Squad, you don't know them boys? Being talking facts on every topic. Overall, we just talking noise, just being boys. Covering Texas sports in them tall hills. That with the fake pass over to Elliott. Better guard your grills like a car for real. Yeah, Cowboys gonna bring a bowl back, Lord willing. Yeah, Mavericks gonna bring a ring back with Mark in it. We live sports, we talk sports, we dream sports, we eat sports. The teacher about to teach the course. Welcome to BS3 Sports. Aye. Gross. Oh man, yeah.
Welcome to the Weekend Wrap-Up Show, episode 159, entitled Oklahoma, a.k.a. Defense Optional U. Shout out to Ced Galloway. Shout out to Miss Mocha Bella. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support this year. This is the last Weekend Wrap-Up Show for 2019. We're going into a new decade. We're going into a new year. Also, the last Monday of the year. Man, there's been so much that has happened throughout this year. So many ups and downs, some struggles. But that just tells you that we have made it. That we are 2 days away from the beginning of a new year. Some people can't say that. Some people didn't make it through this year. So let's just be thankful as we go into this next year. We got a great show planned for today, recapping all the sports news from the weekend. Oh my gosh, shocking. The Dallas Cowboys won a game. Didn't matter, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about college football playoffs. We'll also talk about some NBA news and notes. We'll give you a full picture of the games coming up this weekend. So let's get it. Shout out to my X-Squad Radio fam. Shout out to my No Phony Podcast Network fam. Shout out to each and every supporter, each and every person that has listened this year. Much love. We got bigger and better things going into 2020. So it'll definitely be worth you keeping it locked right here on BS3 Radio. Great content, new shows coming up. But let's get into it. So Jaguars informed Doug Marrone before the game even begun that he was going to get roasted, that he was going to get fired, he was going to be dismissed. Not surprised there. Shout out to Shelly Q. Thank you for tuning in. Ced says, we all knew Jalen would have to ball out of his mind for Oklahoma to win because the defense is hot dumpster juice. Facts. They play zero defense. If any kid is planning to go to Oklahoma, just know that you will be trashed your entire 4 years if you play defense. And also, I'm going on a tangent here, but also Lincoln Riley, I'm completely out on Lincoln Riley. If you can't coach your team to play any defense, like none at all, and you got to give hats off to LSU, but still, Burrow threw for 7 touchdowns in the first half. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Redskins, at first, they said that they stripped Bruce Allen of his football operations title, and then they came back around and said that they fired him, and they have hired Ron Rivera as their new head coach. I think that's going to be an interesting scenario. I'm interested to see how that pans out. I knew that, they only had so much patience for Ron. No matter how long he was there, no matter what he's done, they didn't have that much patience left. So he is going to be going over to the Redskins. Good luck there, because that's as dysfunctional can be. they are just as bad as the Cowboys. They're actually worse because they haven't won anything in a longer time. The Cleveland Browns fire Freddie Kitchens after one season. This is normally what's called Black Monday, which meaning the day after the season ends, coach is getting fired. So he is one of those after 1 year. In my opinion, basically is I didn't think Freddie Kitchens was a good hire anyway. The guy is not that experienced. Also, you got a lot of egos on that team. You got a Baker Mayfield who walks into every single building crotch first. And then you have Odell Beckham Jr. You know what he brings. He brings a lot on the field, but he's going to bring you something off the field. And you got to consider that. This is not probably the easiest job coming out the gate if you're a new head coach. This is not easy. This is something where it's going to take managing personalities. And I don't think Freddie Kitchens was able to do that. And I think they need a bigger name. I think they need a guy with more skins on the wall. I think they need a guy that could probably better relate to each and every one of those players. Kitchens was in over his head. Say Galloway, you're 100% correct. He definitely was. Shout out to Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters get a 3-year, $42 million extension. I am happy that he's with the Ravens. I think he and that team could definitely, 100%, I believe that they can go all the way. They've got all the pieces in place. They've got offense. They've got defense. They got everything that you need to be able to make it to the Super Bowl. And we could possibly have a rematch. We could possibly have a rematch to the Ravens 49ers. I've been talking about that for a little while. So that is, it's going to be interesting to see what the Ravens do in these playoffs. But they have worked hard enough. They have worked hard enough. They did everything that they needed to do to get there. So shout out to the Ravens signing Marcus Peters, who's from the Bay Area, by the way. The Giants have fired Pat Shurmur, went 9-23 over 2 seasons. The Giants are, again, the entire NFC East, except the Eagles, are in complete dysfunction right now. All of them are replacing their coaches, except the Eagles. It is just, the NFC East is also known as the NFC least because they cannot seem to keep a coach and they cannot seem to have a consistent season under their belts. And that's a prime example again. None of them can keep it and none of them can remain relevant for long enough. So there's a lot of names that are going to be out there. Hopefully we may hear something as we're doing the show today. The Browns asked to interview Josh McDaniels. Panthers expected to follow. Josh McDaniels, another one of those hot names. And my whole thing on Josh McDaniels is this. You remember last year or the year before last, he was going to be the new head coach of the Colts. The next thing you know, he turns the job down. I don't know where, and he ended up staying with New England. So I understand that people say, oh, he's a hot name and he's got a lot of ability and he's able to be a quarterback guru or an offensive guru. But is he truly going to stay? And how long is he going to stay for is ultimately the question. Because honestly, I thought he was going to be the coach in waiting in New England. But clearly that hasn't happened. So is he willing to take over an organization that's not as pretty, not as organized, not as beautiful as what the Patriots are? Is he willing to go to the Cleveland Browns or to the Panthers and completely rebuild? I don't know if he's willing to do that. You know, he went to Denver. There was a lot hyped up when he went to Denver. He had Tebow. Yeah, I think he had Demaryius Thomas, but he didn't stay there. So I am not clamoring to get Josh McDaniels. As you know, the Cowboys are supposedly going to be meeting with Jason Garrett today. Hopefully that means they're going to be parting ways. Hopefully that means I don't have to hear anything else about Jason Garrett from today on. Josh wants the Pats job, and I agree with you there, Sid. I think he's the coach in waiting, and he's been there the longest. He's got a lot of experience there, so I don't really see a reason why he's trying to run out of there, unless he knows something that we don't know. But I would highly suggest he just stays there. Belichick can't coach forever, and you got it made, and you're one of the highest paid offensive assistants in the league. So that's going to be an interesting story as we get further along throughout the hiring process. So the games from yesterday. Had some great games yesterday. The Packers came back from 14 down. I thought the Packers were going to lose, but they ended up coming back 14 down to beat the Lions. They could not secure home field advantage because the 49ers beat the Seahawks. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Kansas City has now owned the second spot after they beat the Chargers. New England lost to the Dolphins. Upset City. The Miami Dolphins have done it again. I'm shocked. I'm surprised. Shout out to Melvin. Thank you for tuning in. I am shocked. I am surprised that the Dolphins got an upset. But hey, the Dolphins have done it, I believe you could say 2 years in a row now. But big ups to the Dolphins, man. Being a spoiler. It's nothing better than being a spoiler to a team that's already in the playoffs. There's nothing better than making them look sorry. And Tom Brady's not the same. This is not the same Tom Brady. I honestly do not see the Patriots going to the Super Bowl this year. I hope it does not happen. I actually pray it doesn't happen. That was actually part of my prayer this morning. But that they do not need to go to the Super Bowl. And the way they've played this entire season has been so up and down. It's been extremely rocky. Shout out to Vince Wright, the sports governor. Derrick Henry and the Titans made it to the playoffs, number one. Number two, Derrick Henry, all-time leading rusher, the 2019 rushing title. He beasted this year. If you didn't have Derrick Henry on your fantasy team, you should feel sorry for yourself because you probably lost your league. And the reason why I can say that is because I won my league and Derrick Henry was a starter. I had Patrick Mahomes, I had Dak at the quarterback spot. It was a good year for me fantasy-wise. So hopefully you guys did well. Hopefully one of you guys won your league. Shout out to my man Wilkes in the building. 49ers fan. He's high right now. He is high and excited. The 49ers won last night. But again, Derrick Henry with a great year this year. Rushing title, helped leading his team to the playoffs. And Derrick Henry, we all knew he was a beast at Alabama. But there's always going to be a skeptic out there that's going to say, well, he can't really do that in the league. Well, he may not be that good when it comes to playing running back in the NFL. Well, guess what? He did exactly what he came to do, and that was to wreck the league this year, which he did it. Jameis Winston, as much as I hate to bring this up, as much as I hate to do this, Jameis Winston has joined the 30-30 club. No, that's not 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases, but that's 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions for this season. He had a pick six in overtime to lose the game against the Falcons. It has been a tough season for Jameis. There's no other way to put it. He's had an extremely tough year. I honestly hate this for the kid because he is better, and I think he deserves better. And I think he will bounce back. But 30 for 30, which there's a lot of jokes going around. But Jameis is, you look on the positive side, he did lead the league in passing yards. In second place was Dak. The one knock I do have on Dak and the Cowboys as a whole is during the majority of that time, they were coming back. So if you're coming back in a game, more than likely you're going to have to throw the ball. You're not going to be handing the ball off to Zeke. But we'll talk about the Cowboys here in a minute. The Saints 42-10 over the Panthers. A highlight moment for the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey becomes the third member of the 1K club. He had 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards. McCaffrey is showing that he's that gadget back. He is that Julian Edelman. He is that Wes Welker, but he can run. So big props to Christian McCaffrey this year. So breaking headlining news, if you guys weren't aware, the Cowboys actually won a game. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. The Cowboys finally won a game. 47-16 over one of the worst teams in the NFL. One of the worst teams in the NFL. So as much as I want to be excited, as much as I want to climb to the rooftop and scream and yell that the Cowboys won a game, they won a game against one of the worst teams in the league. And it was the last game of the year. They needed the win, and they needed Philly to lose. Obviously, Philly didn't lose, or else I wouldn't be talking about what I'm talking about right now. But Philly won their game. The Cowboys are eliminated. They won 47-16. Dak had 4 touchdowns. Shout out to Dak on a good stat year. He definitely put up the stats. He also helped me win my fantasy league this week. They beat Washington. They played in Dallas. I mean, the one thing you have to be excited about is at least the Cowboys ended the season on a high note with getting a win. Also, Jason Garrett is going to be gone. Like I just mentioned, he is meeting, supposedly he's going to be meeting with the Cowboys brass. I don't know what you need to meet for. All you need to tell them is, it's time for you to go. It's your last paycheck. Go pick it up at the front desk, and that's it. But this is Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones is going to run this thing out as long as possible. He's going to make it some skeptical like he does everything. Like he does everything, he's going to make it into this big thing. He's probably going to have a press conference. He's probably going to have a luncheon afterwards. He's probably going to invite all the past Cowboys players. He's going to drag this thing out for as long as possible. And the thing that makes me nervous, the thing that makes me cringe is that you cannot drag this thing on for too long. Eric Bieniemy is going to be interviewing very soon. They're already talking to Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator. A lot of these names are getting ready to get grabbed very quickly. Ron Rivera already got his job. So you cannot wait around and just say, the people will still be here and we'll be fine, because we're not fine. And we haven't been fine in a long time. So let's just get that straight. Let's just get that out there. Said, I don't know why they're meeting with him. There is no reason to meet. But again, this is Jerry Jones, and this is his organization, as he has clearly made it. So the Cowboys end the season 8-8. The fourth time they go 8-8 under Jason Garrett. They've been average this entire 10 year of Jason Garrett. His record is, I believe it's 86-7 6-59. I looked it up. It's 5.5 or 5.59 is the actual percentage. So he's a little bit above average, okay? If that makes anybody feel better, he's a little bit above average, but still, it has been average. We need new direction. We need new people. We need new voices. Shout out to DJ, Jim, and Jackie in the building. Thank you for tuning in, MCDE. So the Eagles had to get a win, which they did. They did what they needed to do. They won 17-9. Good luck. Psych. I'm not giving a good luck to the Eagles. But they are the ones that are in the playoffs representing the NFC East. Plain and simple, though, the Eagles really don't deserve it either. I mean, they made it. I get that. They're in the playoffs. I get that. But just as the Cowboys have played average this year, so has the Eagles. Now, they're in it because they are. I mean, there's nothing you can say or do about that. But the Eagles are in it. I honestly don't see them winning a Super Bowl. It's just me being honest. I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm just being straight up. I don't see them winning a Super Bowl. I don't see them getting past the first round. So all the Eagles fans, if you want to be really excited, if you want to jump on the rooftop and shout out that you made it to the playoffs, good luck. Because you got a hard road trying to get to the Super Bowl if that's what they're going to do. Case Keenum had a touchdown. Redskins in their season 3-13. They get the number 2 pick in the draft. Who will they go after? They already have Haskins. So I guess it's a matter of them going after Chase Young. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, supposedly Jason Garrett is probably at the Star right now in Frisco, sitting down, talking to Jason and Steven. If anything comes through, I will let you know. But I honestly think it needs to be a short and sweet type of situation. The Sunday night game, which 100% lived up to the hype, 49ers Seahawks. Fast forward to the end of the game. They've been playing it tough really all game long. 49ers had the lead. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, you cannot count out Russell Wilson. You can't do it. He was ducking and dodging passes. It was 13-0 at the half. And then that's when Seattle started to surge. You had the great Beast Mode with a touchdown jumping over the pile. This dude just left his house like 3 hours ago and played in this game. So shout out to Beast Mode. I think it is exciting to see him come back and be a part of this team. And I'm very interested to see how they're going to perform in these playoffs because they are missing players. I don't know how in shape Beast Mode is. He looked good. There were certain points in time when he wasn't in the game, but he looked good. But 49ers get the win. Jacob Hollister with a catch. He had inches to go, and he could not get there. Great tackle by Greenlaw. And the 49ers, they're a team built on no-name players. And they were no-name before they got here. Like Mozart. Mozart played for 5 different teams before he got to the 49ers. Greenlaw is a cat that I've never heard of, but they are doing it. And they're extremely successful with the defense that they have. Their offense continues to make plays. They make enough plays to win the game. And their defense makes enough plays for them to win the game. They get turnovers. They tackle. They're fundamental. So 49ers got a lot to look forward to. Now, the play before that, which it was actually deemed as not holding, but you can clearly see that there was holding on that Seahawks wide receiver. So the refs did give the 49ers a little bit of help. But it was a goal line situation. And the Seahawks couldn't get in there. They had another opportunity to run beast mode. They didn't do it. Two plays before that, the offensive lineman was down injured. He couldn't get to the line soon enough. That was a weird sequence of plays because they could have called a timeout. They could have figured out a way to better organize the end of the game. Didn't work out in their favor. The Seahawks are still in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's not like they're out of the playoffs because of this, but that does truly affect the seeding. So the 49ers clicks the number 1 seed with the win over the Seahawks. If you look at the seeding in the NFC, number 1, obviously, you got the 49ers. Number 2, you got the Packers. Number 3, you got the Saints. Number 4, you got the Eagles. All the way at number 5, you got the Seahawks. And number 6, you got the Minnesota Vikings. Bad time, bad calls by college and pro refs this past weekend. True. Very true, Vince. Let me know how far you think your team's going to go. Vince, Mocha, your team's not in the playoffs, just like mine isn't. And Sid, your team is not in the playoffs as well. But going into the wild card weekend, Sunday, we got Vikings at Saints. We got a rematch. Who is looking forward to this? I know I am. And you got Seahawks, Eagles, the Battle of the Birds. That's going to be another good one. That's on Sunday. Look at the AFC. Ravens at the number 1 spot. Ravens have done so great this year. I want to see them in the Super Bowl so bad. I want to see Ravens, 49ers. Those technically, looking at record, those are the best 2 teams on both sides of the ball too. But you got 49ers, Packers, Saints. I already went through NFC. AFC, Ravens, Chiefs. Both of those got the first round bye. Patriots, for the first time, I believe, since 2000, I don't know the exact stat, but I believe since 2004, the Patriots do not have a first round bye. This is going to affect Grandpa Tommy. This is going to affect him. You got to play more games than what you've had to play in years. And I truly believe this is the end of the road for Tom Brady. He says he can play longer. I don't know. We'll find out very soon. So you got the Patriots at number 3, the Bills at number 4. The Texans number 4, the Bills number 5, the Titans number 6, getting in the playoffs on the back of Derrick Henry. And here's your AFC wild card weekend. Bills at Texans on Saturday, and then Titans at Patriots on Sunday. I would love nothing more than Derrick Henry to run for 200 yards on the Patriots defense. I would love nothing more than that. But what a great slate of games coming up this wild card weekend. This is when it gets good. This is when the getting is good and you get to see the best teams on the field. Shout out to DJ Knox in the building, the crown holder built for this network. Thank you for tuning in. I think they said 2009 on the Pats. Thank you for that, Shelly Q. My team is going as far as Vegas. I think we lose a close game, says Vince Wright. It's going to be a good rematch. Definitely going to be a good rematch. So the Patriots, they've done a lot for this past decade. Going into 2020, it will not be the same, period. So let's get to this college football, which we'll get to the title of the show, too, in a minute. We had the Cotton Bowl Classic here in Dallas. Penn State beats Memphis 53-39. Journey Brown. Great name, first of all. Second of all, he ran for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. Penn State with a monster win. But shout out to Memphis for getting there, too. To get into the Cotton Bowl is not an easy thing to do. Penn State at 398 yards rushing in their 30th bowl game. Notre Dame beats Iowa State. I was wrong. I thought Iowa State was going to get an upset. Did not happen. Tony Jones Jr., 135 yards and a touchdown. And let's get to this title of the show. The title of today's show, as you can see, is Oklahoma, a.k.a. Defense Optional University. They got dragged by LSU, 49-14. Joe Burrow had 7 touchdowns. Count them, 7 in the first half. He had 4 to Justin Jefferson. I don't know how you can coach a team that gives up 7 touchdowns in the first half. Kudos to Joe Burrow. He torched the Oklahoma defense. Seth Galloway said it best. And like I said on Friday, Jalen Hurts and that offense was going to have to outscore LSU. That was it. Because Oklahoma's defense is not a defense. It's optional. When you get recruited by Oklahoma, they say, can you play offense? Like, okay, yeah, you can come. And then I'm assuming they get walk-ons for defense. I don't know. That's what somebody told me. But if I'm the Cowboys, I am not even looking Lincoln Riley's direction unless it's for offensive coordinator. To me, his stock as being an NFL head coach has dropped dramatically. If that's what you produce in the college football playoff, and my heart goes out to Jalen Hurts. I wanted the best for Jalen Hurts, like I said on Friday. I want the best for the kid. But his defense is not going to help him at all. And they did not. His defense did not help him. They actually made it more difficult on him. And that just goes to tell you that the Big 12 does not play defense. That is not what they do. They do well in offense. They do well at throwing the ball. But that's about it. So Joe Burrow had 8 touchdowns, Heisman winner. Tied the record for any college bowl game with 7 touchdowns, which all came before the half. Man, LSU is looking really good right now. Really good. CeeDee Lamb declares for the draft, Oklahoma. Wide receiver, he's number 8 overall prospect on Todd McShay's big board. CeeDee Lamb is definitely going to go high, and I think he will definitely be a great talent in the league. I believe I'm 100% correct that he will be. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb, he has lived up to the hype that was put on him. And he's an exciting player to watch. So only time will tell to see where he goes, where he gets drafted. The other game, Clemson books their ticket to the national championship game. And I was wrong. Courtney Harden, if you're listening, I said I would come on here on Monday and say I was wrong. I picked Ohio State. Ohio State was so close. They were so close. It was an interception by Justin Fields in the game. I got to give it to Trevor Lawrence. As much as I've been critical of him, the kid ran for 107 yards, a career high. He was running out there. He was running around out there like Michael Vick. Travis Etienne did exactly what he's been doing all year. Ran for a 34-yard touchdown with 1:49 left. Tigers are 14-0. They have proved a lot of people wrong, including myself. Coming down to the end of the game, the Buckeyes march all the way down the field. They were down. They had a play that worked earlier on the drive, and they ran the play again. Chris Olave broke the route. I believe he ended up falling. And Nolan Turner was right there to get the interception. And the the Clemson Tigers are going to the championship game for another year. And I don't even know who to pick. I want to say LSU, but Clemson's defense has shown up. Trevor Lawrence is proving that he is a top prospect. I don't think he should go number one, but when he does come out, but I think he is a top prospect. USC got the brakes beat off them by Iowa, said Galloway. But we got it. We got the two best teams in college football, Clemson, LSU, January the 13th. It's coming. It's coming very soon. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we got NBA talk I want to get to. Also, college basketball. Also, we had a boxing match this weekend as well. And I will keep you posted on any news and notes that come through about Black Monday. Any coaches getting fired or released. So we'll see. We'll be right back. You tuned into the weekend wrap-up show right here on BS3 Radio.
We all hate when we have unexpected car problems. Well, I am here to tell you about a viable solution. Bay 11 Auto and my man Melvin. You have emission problems? Brakes need changing? Transmission slipping? Is your car just driving sluggish? No problem is too big. I live on the other side of town and I drive over an hour to a guy that I trust. Melvin is honest, dependable, and definitely not in the business to break your pockets. Come see the official mechanic, Melvin, at Bay 11 Auto. You will be glad you did. You can reach him at 1455 General Arts Road, Conyers, Georgia, or 404-295-5715. That's 404-295-5715.
Welcome back to the weekend wrap-up show, episode 159. Oklahoma has a new name, and it's called Defense Optional U. That's what they did this past weekend. NBA talk, Zach Randolph. I don't know if I mentioned this on Friday or not, but Zach Randolph is retiring from the NBA. 17 seasons. He said he gave this game his all, which he did. Z-Bo, he's also, there was an interesting article, I think it was on ESPN. I'm not sure exactly, but he is part owner of a team in Australia, I believe. Him, Kevin Martin, and there's a lot of former players that are actually owners of a team over there. But shout out to Z-Bo. He gave everything to this league. Put everything out there on the court. Didn't get a championship, but he has done so much in this league, in the game of basketball. I will always be a fan of Z-Bo. Wish he was eventually part of the Mavericks. That didn't end up happening, but he has done a lot in this league, and he has been a beast of a power forward throughout his entire time. So, Luka Doncic returned on Friday. Saturday, he broke another record. Luka continues to dominate. He had a 20-year-old Luka became the only player in NBA history to record multiple career 30-point triple-doubles in 30 minutes or less playing time. He had 31, 12, and 15. They beat the Warriors 141 to 121. The Warriors were going on a little bit of a run there. I believe they won 4 games in a row. They beat last week. They beat the Rockets. And look, I'm gonna say this. It seems like the media make up or pull records out of the bag for Luka. Luka's a great player, but he is being hoisted as one of the greats. He is not one of the greats quite yet. Give the kid some time. Don't put him on a pedestal too early. But they come up with all these records that I have never even heard of. They pull all these records out of the bag. He has had the most triple doubles, by someone at 20 years and 15 days old. Like the records that they come up with, they are amazing, but some of them are like pulled out of a bag. You know what I'm saying? Now, last night, Luka did not play the full game. He is in concussion protocol. He also had some type of leg injury. Lakers end up beating the Mavericks. AD had 23, 9, and 4. LeBron, I think he had 15. LeBron didn't need to score because everybody else was pitching in. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. AD, like I just mentioned. Luka with 19, 4, and 7. Really was not a good all-around game. They were down by 14 early in the game, and they just never came back. Porzingis wasn't really getting that much run. So clearly that either Carlisle just thought, let's just sit him because we're not going to win this game anyway. I don't know what his thinking was, but there was 4 minutes left. The Mavs were down by 10, and they just pretty much said, forget about it. We're just going to let this game go ahead and go the way it goes. We're going to live to fight another day. That's kind of the approach that it seemed like they were going at it. But like I said, Luka's in concussion protocol. We'll see what happens there. Also a great moment for the Holiday brothers. You got Justin, Drew, and Aaron. They were all playing in the same game on the floor at the same time. It's the first time in NBA history. Aaron and Justin play for the Pacers, and then Drew plays for the Pelicans. So that was a really great moment. If you're a parent, you know that had to warm your heart to see all three of your boys out there playing at the same time on the same court. So that was exciting to see. Even to have three young men in the NBA at the same time. I mean, that bloodline is crazy. But that was a great thing to see. Shout out to Shelly B in the building. Thank you for tuning in. It's the weekend wrap-up show. All right, let's go to college basketball here. We had two upsets from this weekend. The Wildcats upset the Louisville Cardinals. Tyrese Maxey at 27-7. This was Kentucky's third straight win over Louisville. And Kentucky, they're going to be up and down. There's not a lot of high recruits running to Kentucky like it used to be. They're going to Duke. They're going to North Carolina. They're going to some other schools, but Kentucky just seems to be like they don't have they're not one of those teams that have the cream of the crop anymore. They do get some, but they don't have all of them. And I think that has been a continued problem for them. So we'll see what happens with Kentucky, but I don't see them winning a championship really anytime soon. I hate to say it, but I think it's the truth. And then West Virginia upsets Ohio State. The second loss of the season. So two major upsets in the sport of college basketball. And I feel like now we can really delve deeper into college basketball. We can start to dig deeper into NBA because the NFL is basically it's a month away and it's over. So we'll see what happens. Also, to give you a kind of an update on the AP Top 25, Gonzaga is number 1. Oregon moves up to number 5. I will not and I cannot trust Gonzaga. As much as I want to, I can't do it until they win a national championship. Sorry. Duke moves up to number 2, Kansas 3, Oregon 4, Ohio State 5. You got Baylor, Louisville, Auburn, Memphis, and Villanova. My North Carolina Tar Heels are not having a good year. This is a rebuild. You don't have Cole Anthony, which has affected you tremendously. They're not even ranked. They go up against Yale today. Wichita State just jumped into the top 25 at number 24. So all the Duke fans, you got a lot to be excited about. You're number 2 in the nation. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to Memphis now too. And great point. Penny is going to be plucking a lot of that talent because Penny has the skins on the wall. Penny 100% has the skins on the wall. He has the experience. He's able to talk to these kids as if he knows what he's doing, because he does. And he can probably be a father figure to some of them. So that's going to be great to see with Memphis. So that's kind of your AP top 25 there in college basketball. Like I said, North Carolina playing Yale today. And then we had a boxing match. Gervonta Davis wins by TKO over Gamboa to claim the WBA lightweight belt. Not only is this kid a 3-time champ in Gervonta Davis, but doing it at 25. This kid is young. He is young. He is hungry. He is the best fighter in this Mayweather camp. But that lightweight division is very heavy. You got Lomachenko there. Also, let me think of the other name. But Lomachenko is the biggest name that's there. And Lomachenko, I don't know if he truly wants that smoke when it comes to Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko. That would be very interesting to see that fight. But yeah, Lomachenko, and then Teofimo Lopez is the other guy that's making noise in the lightweight division. And I don't know if Gervonta is going to be able to match up with either one of them. But Gervonta just moved up, had a knockout in I believe that was in the 12th round. So he fought hard that fight. That was a tough one. That wasn't an easy one. That wasn't a knockout in the first couple rounds. So that was a tough knockout. But he was able to do it. He was able to get it. So a couple of other news and notes from the weekend. Josh McDaniels says he's 100% invested in the playoffs, not the buzz. I understand what you're saying, Josh McDaniels, but you're going to have to probably interview for jobs, which means it's going to take you away from focusing on the plays and the playbook. So you have to say that, but I don't know how 100% he's going to be able to dedicate his ultimate focus to that. Bears beat the Vikings. A couple of scores I didn't go over. Bengals beat the Browns. Broncos beat the Raiders by 1. And they're going to Vegas, so it's time to get there, regroup. Ravens beat the Steelers. RG3 got the start. Rams beat the Cardinals to end their season, which was disappointing. There was a lot of disappointing seasons this year for a lot of teams. A lot of expectations that were not met. Specifically with the Cowboys, with the Rams. The Rams were in the Super Bowl last year. And they are this year not making the playoffs at all. As I'm kind of looking at other news from today, the Golden State Warriors are monitoring the Karl Anthony Towns situation in Minnesota. Are they trying to part ways? Is that a possibility that Golden State could try to trade Karl Anthony Towns? I don't know what exactly they have. I guess you can give them that first pick, because their pick is definitely going to be high this year. So you got to factor that in. They can include that in some type of pick. With the Giants, head coach Pat Shurmur gone, there was a rumor going around that they wanted Jason Garrett. Well, guess what? Jason Garrett should be available in about the next 3 to 4 hours. So if you want to scoop him up, be my guest. That'll help us as in the Cowboys have dominance throughout the next decade. But we come to the moment of the show for the Benny Awards, the top performers of the weekend. We do this at the end of every weekend wrap-up show. Thank you all those that are tuning in live. Thank you those that are tuning in via the podcast. Much love and appreciation to each and every one of you guys. Also getting ready for the new year, so appreciate all the support. Throughout 2019, 2020 will be better than ever. But I got a couple Benny Awards that I want to give out. Number one, I got to give one out to Derrick Henry. Dominating this year in the running game, doing exactly what he needed to do and being dominant at it. He was dominant in the game. I'm glad I had him in my fantasy league. He is paid dividends week in, week out. And he holds the rushing title. He also led his team to the playoffs. He 100% led his team to the playoffs. I'm going to give one to Jameis Winston. I know he's in the 30 for 30 club, but on a positive note, he led the league in passing, 5,109 yards. Big ups to Derrick Henry, big ups to Jameis Winston. I'm also going to give one to McCaffrey. He joins the 1,000 club. There was a lot of skepticism on him. It's still early in his career, but that's a great feat, which he accomplished. I'm going to go ahead and give one to Dak. He had 4 touchdowns. The Cowboys end the season on some type of high note. Got to give one to the 49ers defense, making that stop at the end of the game. I'm going to give one to Penn State with a huge win. Joe Burrow, definitely. He gets the biggest Benny Award out of all of them today with 8 touchdowns. Got to give one to Trevor Lawrence. A career high 170 yards rushing. That kid proved a lot of people wrong, and Clemson proved a lot of people wrong too. Give another one to Gervonta Davis with the TKO win over Gamboa. He's a 3-time champ at 25 years old. That's greatness right there. Derrick Henry gets a Benny Award from Ced Galloway. I agree. Benny to LeBron and Serena, AP Sportsman and Sportswomen of the Decade. They definitely 100% deserve it. Both of them do. So, we are at the end of the show. You guys have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. Check out all the shows on BS3 Radio. Also, if you're an Apple user, subscribe, leave a review on your Apple Podcast app. It would be greatly appreciated. 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. And we got some more great shows coming up this week. Eagles versus everybody, Owl High. And coming up at the beginning of the year, we will have our newest host, Terrence Bennett of the TENT Sports Podcast, will be returning back to the podcast game right here on BS3 Radio. So have a good rest of your week. God bless. God is love. Peace.